Hey, good morning, Vanessa.
Also with us is the Chief Nursing Officer, Mr. Wayne Laramie. Good morning, Wayne.
Good morning, Vanessa.
How about that forecast, y'all?
I like it. Get past today, get past tomorrow.
Right.
I think everyone's will say, yeah, we've had a lot of rain in the area. I'm sure we have in Macomb. I know you guys have too up here. Good for the farmers, good for the crops. And then I love 56.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
It's
56?
window weather right there.
Yes. We'll take that. Nice little break.
We need it. Golly, everything's so hot, sticky, and humid. It's like it's Arkansas heat, but it's in Illinois.
You're right. It's in Illinois, and I appreciate what you said. Make sure you are taking those precautions. Yeah. Stay hydrated. If you don't have air conditioning available, go on the website, find the cooling stations. Please take care of yourself. Stay out of the heat and humidity as much as possible.
You got it. You got it. Okay, Wayne, Chief Nursing Officer. Well, welcome. Welcome to the area.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Tell people a little bit about yourself.
So I grew up in the St. Louis region, a little bit west of St. Louis County called St. Charles County.
Yeah.
So we grew up on a small farm. We were in the rural area, and then the city moved to us, I would say. So we went from a population of 486 people to 10,000 in 10 years. That's back when St. Charles County was the fastest growing county in the United States, actually. So I have 4 younger sisters. My parents still live and doing well in the St. Louis region with my 4 sisters. I became a nurse for almost 40 years now.
Wow.
So I know. I was one of those lucky young men that had some great role models and helped take care of my grandparents who had a healthy image of geriatric care. And when I was 18, I helped take care of my grandpa, and he told me that if I had been a nurse, I'd have been the best nurse that he had.
Aww.
So that was my calling into nursing. At age 18, I went to St. Mary's College in O'Fallon, Missouri, and 2 years later, I graduated from an associate degree program. I was the only one out of 100. I was the only guy. So a little bit of a diversity back in the day.
Yeah.
So I love to remember that. Probably because I have 4 sisters is how I was able to navigate that climate, because there's a little bit of a respect that has to happen there. You have to be smart and knowledgeable, but you can't be too testosterone filled, and so you really have to figure out how to work that relationship very meaningful way. So that started my career working for SSM Healthcare in St. Louis. So I was worked for them for 25 years. So most people don't want to be labeled as a job hopper. So I never was a job hopper. So I started as a bedside nurse and then did a lot of different things. Became a manager of the ER, and then director of the ER, then a vice president for the region in St. Louis. So I had 7 ERs that reported to me, and we worked to be the best that we could possibly be.
Okay.
So I was with them 25 years, and then decided that instead of finishing out my career there, I wanted to see how the other half lived. So we had two kids, and they were off to college. So we were empty nesters. So my wife of 37 years, we decided to go to Wisconsin. So we went to Racine to work for Ascension, and that's where COVID hit when I was there. So I didn't know why I was called to Wisconsin, but their nursing leadership team really needed some guidance. And probably for a year, I did nothing but live there as the incident commander because that team was pretty weak. At our worst there, we had 100 ICU patients on a ventilator because it's a big hospital, and 8 to 10 deaths per day. So if someone asked me what was the most rewarding as well as the most challenging thing in my career, it would be COVID. It's left PTSD for many people in healthcare and in society in general. So from there, I went to Rockford. I worked for OSF, so I was there for 4 years with them. I got to work with many amazing, beautiful people. Sister Judith Ann, to this day, is still one of my heroes. She's an amazing, not just sister, but she's about 5'0" and gives the best big hugs you'll ever get from anybody. It touches your soul when she gives you that hug. And then I wanted to get closer to St. Louis. So from Rockford, I was lucky enough to find MDH and talk to Bill Murdoch and our previous CNO, Wanda Foster, who's just an amazing woman who served 42 years, I think, at MDH. So I wanted to be able to reconnect. So when you have a smaller workforce, you get to round more often, you get to listen to them, and you really do get to find your joy again and that resilience, because it can kind of suck the life out of you if you in a great big place. So instead of 654 nurses, I think total we have 155 or something like that at MDH. So I get to see them a lot more, and I've always want to improve the work environment, because that's what nurses and healthcare workers in general, we care about the work environment. We want to have work that has meaning, and we want to have a leader that supports. Those are the reasons why you moved somewhere or stay somewhere, is because of that support. So MDH is strong, and my role is to make it stronger.
Yeah.
And,
The
on that journey.
doctor's so important, because we go in and that's who we're looking to talk to, but the nurse is who you really develop that relationship with.
Yeah, we're lucky that we have really strong nursing schools around here. And so I think recruitment to replace the nurses that retired, if you want to read a good book, it's called The Great Resignation. The nation lost thousands of nurses who simply during COVID retired, and they're not coming back, right? Once you fill that gap in, there's no way you can come back into the workforce, and there's a lot of fear there still. So we've got to replace that workforce, and we have a lot of advanced practice providers, nurse practitioners that are, Midwest is a little slow to adopt their functionality and how much they can do for population health and help extend our physicians, because we don't have enough physicians
Right.
in the country. So that solution is that we have to grow more APPs who can do the 70% of that work for managing routine health and office visits, and for those patients who have high complex diseases, lots of meds, then our physicians need time to manage them, because that's the top of their license.
Okay. And you mentioned the COVID impact on nursing at your previous position. That is the great resignation we're talking about, was the number of people who retired during COVID and left the workforce. We have traveling nurses, but that is not a sustainable pathway for long term.
Yeah, just the overhead and the salary cost for that contingency staffing, most rural or even city large facilities can't sustain that cost, because it's literally double, triple what you would normally pay a wage plus benefits to a nurse. So you might have to use them intermittently for a very specialized area, but as far as basic nursing, ER care, OB, when we have to incur that extra cost, it really erodes the operational bottom line. So I think we're on a journey. Back in April, we had 20 travelers, and in August we'll be at 13, and by the end of the year we'll be at 5 or 6, and the goal is to get to 0. Hope is not a plan. We have a plan that's going to work, and that includes more new graduates, better onboarding, and then we also got to look at our retention of nurses and why they're leaving. So I don't want to know why you left. I want to know why you went looking.
Sure.
What made you go look? Because when you press that I'm interested button, that huge sucking sound is recruiters who are paid millions of dollars all over the country to pull them in. They get paid based on how many they find and recruit. So we've got to avoid them pressing that button or go to the website that says I'm interested, because they'll find two things. They'll find a little bit more money and a lot of promises.
Gotcha.
Entities don't have to deliver on the promises, and a little bit more money is great until after the taxes, and you take it home and you're like, I changed jobs for what?
Right.
So again, listening to their daily needs. Everybody who says things like, "Well, just tell me what to do. I don't want to know or want to be involved." Everybody wants to be engaged. They want to have a say. They want to improve the work environments.
Okay. Now, talking about that pathway, that journey, the nurse recruitment, that's going to start right here locally, right?
Absolutely. I am interested in anyone who wants to be a nurse for MDH or for our organization who's within a certain geography, right? I mean, if Western Illinois University has nurses from California going to school, that's great. That's awesome. Our opportunity to recruit them and retain them here is almost minimal. So really have to be smart as a chief nursing officer and put your time and energy on those that might travel an hour to work for you, or whose parents are farmers and they want to stay in the community. It's a misnomer that you need to start your nursing career in a big facility. It's quite opposite. I started in a small facility, and I got to do everything. I got to move around in all kinds of departments, learning a lot of different things. When you're a big facility, say a telemetry stroke unit, that's where you work when you start, and you don't go anywhere else. You are very pigeonholed in that.
Okay.
So it would take you years to move around to get that experience. So I think smaller can be better to launch your career, give you that solid base so you understand OB, ER, ICU, acute care, med surg, and then you get to know your leaders, and your educators are right there with you. One of the strategies I love is to put an educator on night shift, which is where many of those new graduates start out, so that they can be rounded on, supported, because they'll share with an educator their weaknesses and their fears more than they will their leader or their peers. Everybody has weaknesses, and we're vulnerable, so we don't want to share that with others. But an educator does it in a way that's very respectful.
Okay. We're talking with Chief Nursing Officer Wayne Laramie with McDonough District Hospital and MDH Clinic here in Monmouth. So it sounds like you're set. You've got your plan ready, your vision, and you're off to the races. So workforce that you have currently, you said over 100 nurses at the McDonough District
Yep.
Hospital facility. Fantastic.
Yeah.
And how about morale? That's one we've been working on too with hospitals. You talked about the PTSD and the COVID nightmare that healthcare professionals endured. Can't think of another way to explain it. That was just a tragedy for everyone involved.
Yeah. So I think the culture is the most important. And culture starts with everybody feeling respected, respecting others. And, I define culture as, you have a bell curve distribution, and you have those that are high performing and they're right where they should be. Those who probably come and go in healthcare and probably aren't fully committed. But the majority, that 60 to 80%, are the majority who show up, working hard, and tend to do their best. And if you can remove the barriers and the obstacles so that the end of their day looks like the start of their day, then you're going to have them coming back, retaining, staying, and they're going to be a happy workforce. So I always say happy doctor, happy nurse, happy patient. And our results for patient experience always need to be better. If we're not working to be better tomorrow than today, then we're falling behind. And our community and patients deserve the best.
Okay.
So you have to believe that and work toward that.
Sounds good. Pat, anything you would like to add this morning?
Well, it was great listening to Wayne. He actually spoke to our Tuesday noon Rotary Club in Macomb, did an absolutely fantastic job. He's been a great asset for our organization, and we're getting around. We asked him if he's been up to Monmouth before. He has not eaten up here, so we're already giving him some suggestions where to eat. And then with our MDH Monmouth Clinic, obviously, yes, he's been up there, met the staff, sports med and rehab. We actually have a new PTA who started, and we got another one who's going to be starting here in a few weeks. So we're excited about adding on to the staff. We still have Lori Fox working there. She does an awesome job. And again, just as a reminder, we got the free pain and injury screenings. You can call the clinic and schedule your free 15-minute pain and injury screening. Again, Monday through Friday, they are open. And then convenience clinic, Vanessa, it's hard to imagine. Sport practice seasons are right around the corner.
I know.
I know there's going to be a lot of parents scrambling to try and get that last-minute school and sport physical. You can call the clinic. Normally, they'll just take walk-in appointments, but if you need to have a school or sport physical, I would encourage people to call the clinic and just make sure that they can get in and get that taken care of. And again, we already held one session for Monmouth students a couple weeks ago, and again, any money that we get from that was a $10 charge on that. For the school and sport physicals, we've been donating back to the schools. So we're excited to do that again this year.
Okay. That's your sports physicals. Yes, practice is literally right around the corner.
Right around the corner, ready or not.
Yeah. Have you seen my schedule for football?
I have not yet, but I can only imagine because it's going to be an exciting fall in this area.
Yeah, for Illinois fans, because their schedule looks pretty good. One of my non-conference games is Notre Dame.
Well, our VP of Human Resources, Bill Corbin, is a big Notre Dame fan.
Well,
so
he's going to be a happy camper that day.
Well, it's going to be an interesting year in the SEC, but I think we say that every year, though, just how tough that schedule is. It's a gauntlet trying to go through that schedule. Now, if they're talking about 9-game schedules,
Yeah, it's going to. Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, I think everyone I play is in the top 25, but 3 schools and possibly Mississippi State's not in the top 25. So, of course, we're not in the top 25 with the SEC. So, oh well, 2
Yeah.
tiers in the bucket, right?
Well, again, middle of the road SEC would probably win a lot of conferences.
Well, we'll
Be the
have
top
to,
half,
on the
easy.
side, root for Iowa and Illinois, right? Because they,
I can't root for Iowa.
No.
I'm an Iowa State fan, but
there you go, Iowa
I grew up
State.
an Iowa State fan, so I can't really root for the Hawkeyes.
I'll add them in there for you. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
And Wayne, tell me, you're not a Missouri fan? Tigers?
I am, Mizzou. I have a lot of friends whose daughters and sons went
Yep.
to Mizzou.
Been there many times.
I follow sports. Period. I mean, I like good sports.
You got it.
I'm a Cardinals fan, a Blues fan because I grew up in St.
Sure.
Louis. But football teams generally leave me, like the Rams, so I have a hard time staying aligned with
greatest show on
them.
turf, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm kind of a Chiefs fan right now.
well, yeah.
Because I like some of those guys. But with having lived in Wisconsin for 4 years, could never be a cheesehead. That's like a religion or some kind of a cult, I think, up there. But
So as being a Razorback, we have these hats too that, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so I try to stay neutral with that, when in the world of sports as well as politics and anything else.
Right.
Because I just don't need the added stress of somebody not liking me for some reason. That's
Because of your sports team.
yeah, right.
Well, you're going to do great as the chief nursing officer. We so appreciate you coming in this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And Pat, you have a great day. I'll see you Friday.
Yeah, we'll see you Friday. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. Wayne Laramie with us and Pat Osterman with us from McDonough District Hospital.